Welcome to the only Australian podcast that's ever existed. It's Oldie but a Goodie, the only single Australians left alive in the nuclear apocalypse, the Mad Max world that is Australia, is me, the Zackinator, and my co-host, the Sun Dodo. How you doing, Sun Dodo?
Oh, g'day there, pretty good. I just squashed my 100th spider of the day. It was trying to bite me neck, and I went, nah, mate, and I squashed it with my middle finger.
Fuck yeah, mate. That's absolutely gangster, mate.
Yeah.
That's fucking far out, mate. Today we'll be reviewing an Australian movie.
We only review Australian movies.
Yeah, I was about to say would not come to a surprise to anyone because we only do Australian movies, seeing as we are stuck in Australia and it's the post-apocalyptic wasteland and we can only find tapes of old-ass movies. From 1984.
That's right. And this is probably one of the only ones as well.
Yeah, there's barely any Australian movies that came out at exactly that year.
Exactly.
But one of them was this movie, Razorback.
Oh.
Which is about the worst thing in existence.
I was going to say Razorback. Razorback sounds like a good old night down at the pub with the old missus, am I right?
No, not at all. That's what the fuck.
Yeah, Razorback. That's right.
I thought it'd be a type of trimmer, you know, that you use for your back hair.
Oh, well, you don't need a trimmer, I tell you what.
Oh, you got me good, Sandodo.
It's pretty bush in the Outback, yeah, mate.
That's
Hey, Australia. This is a long intro.
Bloody Australian intro for an Australian movie called Razorback. I'm Zach, that's Sandro. Welcome to Oldie but a Goodie, the show where we review movies. It's a good time. If you're joining us on this episode, I hope you listened up to this point. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
We're reviewing a movie. It's called Razorback. It's an Australian movie. It was pretty fun. It was very Australian.
Good movie. Did you like the movie?
Oh, bloody truth. I love this movie, mate. As a true Aussie Australian, this movie was fucking hilarious.
Why are you going like Cockney?
I don't know, mate. I don't know, mate. My Australian accent's just slowly fading away.
You got like Northern England there for a second.
Bloody truth. It's a true Australian thing. When I'm drinking alcohol, I go European.
It's a true blue grouse Australian adventure, this movie.
Oh, yeah, this movie was grouse.
And if you don't like it, go away.
Grouse.
But no, seriously, yeah, it was pretty fun. It was alright. This was an okay monster movie with a lot of Australian accents, and I just want to know more about this world that it takes place in, because this place is crazy.
It's great. It's Mad Max. It's literally like just a Mad Max. It was Australia.
With that all being said, your other two options this week... Oh wait, there was only one, and it was called The Killing Field, a movie that critics love about a journalist who covers the Colombian Civil War. Definitely a better movie, but you picked this one.
And I'm glad I did. Honestly, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. It's very bad good sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and the other option was a private function with the Monty Python guy in its comedy, which looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah. That would have been cool.
This was the better one.
Absolutely, mate.
It's in that category of, like, bad movies, but they know they're bad and low budget, so they're just like, let's have fun. And that's good. Yeah. I'm glad this movie wasn't trying to take itself seriously.
And you know what? It had some twists and turns that I was personally not expecting. No. Which I did not expect to not expect things.
I liked how there wasn't a main character for the first half hour of the movie. Everyone kept dying, and I was like, who am I meant to follow?
I was surprised. I was like, no, but I thought it linked up well. Like, they didn't just jump to a different character. They introduced the characters, and then, like, halfway through, they got killed off, and I was like, oh, damn. Like, the First Lady, I was not expecting her to die.
No. Oh, also spoilers.
But yeah, the spoilers for this movie. Go watch this movie.
Sure.
If you like campy horror movies.
If you can find it.
If you manage to get a copy of it, it's really good.
It's very fun. It's very enjoyable.
It's very funny. I was laughing a lot during this movie.
Oh, yeah.
At scenes possibly I shouldn't have.
It's basically a comedy for the entirety, which I think is good. It's also fun.
Laughter and horror go hand in hand. It's a good time.
Crack a couple tinnies. Gotta sink a couple tinnies.
Awesome stubbies.
Yeah, awesome stubbies.
Get some stubbies. That's what I'm drinking right now. Got me some Great Northern stubbies.
Ah, Great Northern.
Yeah.
That's the worst one.
I mean, yes, but someone bought it for me at work.
Oh, well, that's nice of them. Good on you, that person.
Cheers, fella.
So this movie was released November 2nd. It is. And I'm actually kind of amazed that I'm saying this in relation to this movie. It's based off a novel of the same name by Peter Brennan. Now, a book about this.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
I'm looking now, and it doesn't seem like people really like the book. The book's got pretty negative reviews all around.
That's weird how this movie would be made if the book's not that good.
I mean, Australia will make anything, really.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We are weak little baby people.
And it actually shocked me how much this costs, which we'll get to in a second. But before I get to that, this is directed by a guy called Russell Mulcahy. Mm-hmm. He's an Australian film director, and he's done some movies.
Oh, yeah? Like what? Please do tell me.
Like our favourite movie of all time, The Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior.
I was not expecting that, but big oof.
He also did one of the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, man. His career has not had a lot of good ones.
He has done Highlander, though, which is a pretty funny sword and sorcery-esque movie.
Wait, no, The Highlander?
Yeah, The Highlander in the Scottish Highlands with Sean Connery.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I mean, it's fun.
What do you mean? Highlander's a great movie. It's a great time. I love Highlander. I love Razorback. They're a good time. There can only be one.
There can only be one, except there's like 10 of those movies.
Yeah, well, they weren't talking about the movies, were they?
They weren't talking about the movies.
It can be 20.
So yeah, he's done quite a few movies. I just like that he's done Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior.
Yeah, no, that's very funny. And also a big oof, because that's a butt of a lot of my jokes. So, sorry, man. CGI, you just shouldn't. Unless it's going to be really good, don't. Just use practical effects. Like this movie, which was really good in its practical effects.
Yep, at times. I personally liked how there was some sequences where the pig was walking around, but it was just a giant, like, puppet on a car that was driving past.
Yeah.
It wasn't moving. It was great. It was very funny.
Well, when I say that, it wouldn't be worse if it was CGI.
Probably, yeah. So for the cast, as you can imagine, most of these cast members haven't really done too much. So Jake Cullen, who is the old guy, he's played by Bill Kerr, who's just done Australian and British TV. He's also a comedian, so that's pretty much all he's done. I think you could tell that he was a comedian because he was definitely having fun throwing in jokes and stuff.
He had probably my favorite quote in the entire movie, and also he was great. I liked him. I was so saddened when his, spoiler alert, grandson died.
That scene.
And
We'll get to it, but the opening sequence is hilarious.
It's amazing. It really sets the tone for the entire movie.
There's one American in this movie, that is Gregory Harrison, who plays Carl Winters, was, I guess, the main character for most of the film. He was in Logan's Run.
I thought he was good.
He's good in this. He's good.
I like the way it does sort of jump around. So you sort of had three main characters.
Yep.
The old guy, the lady, and the guy. And the guy sort of replaces the lady later on, because, spoiler alert, I've already said it,
You have.
she dies.
She does.
So it follows the same narrative, which is quite good, and it introduces all the characters before we get into the, like, following them as main characters, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, they introduce the guy and the lady at the same time.
Yep.
Then we leave, but he comes back.
Yeah.
Which was a really cool way of doing that. I actually liked that quite a lot.
It was very well done, yeah.
It was smart.
Speaking of her, she is played by an Australian, Judy Morris, plays Beth Winters. She is the co-director of Happy Feet. That's what she went on to do.
Wow.
So good on her.
My God, these people really went on to do just shot in different directions, didn't they?
Yep.
There was a crossroads somewhere here, and honestly, I feel that their talents went to great use.
The director went one way, the actors went another way.
Yep.
And then finally, Archie Whiteley plays Sarah Cameron. She was in Mad Max 2 a couple of years before this. So
I mean, yeah, you could tell this was very Mad Max sort of inspired.
You think? Yeah.
The vehicles were literally like... They went to the Mad Max set and was like, can we borrow these vehicles? We're doing an Australian shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
For the reception, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, audience score of 48.
To be fair, there's 8 critic scores.
Yeah, there's not many.
And 3,000 viewer scores, which to be fair is a lot more than I thought there would be.
Yeah, I'm genuinely interested if anyone outside of Australia remembers this movie, because in Australia I think a lot of people still know about it and still talk about it. I mentioned it to a couple people, and they were people who were alive during the 80s, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I remember that movie. That was a pretty grouse movie. It was pretty good."
Oh, straight, mate. Oh, well, that's good to hear.
It's definitely good to hear, considering this cost $5.5 million.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Well, that is surprisingly expensive. There was a lot of good effects, though, that I was impressed by. They had to build a lot of things, I presume, for this. For all the practical effects and, that whole facility.
Yep.
The pet park. I love that. That was great. It's it's called the pet park, because they're bringing over things to get murdered and slaughtered and packaged and delivered.
That was good.
But that whole facility was I think they would have to make that because then it breaks down for the finale. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is true. It makes sense that it cost quite a bit. What do you think it made in Australia?
I'm really hoping 10 mil.
It's Australia.
I was 11. I'm going to put 11.
Again, this is the Australian box office.
7.5?
No.
6.5?
I'm just going to tell you, $800,000. But that's okay, because guess what it made in America?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, in America. It got a release there.
Yeah. So, look, 800,000 in Australia, not great. But what's the American number?
6,800.
150,000.
150,000?
This made $950,000.
Oh.
5.5 million.
Ooh.
Barely scraping a mil.
Ooh.
Now, it is Australian, and majority of Australian productions don't make their money back because it's all grants and stuff from the government, but that still hurts.
That's yikers. Did they not have, much advertising or something for it?
I don't know, if you heard... No, actually, we're a special case. I was gonna say, if you heard, hey, an Australian movie's getting made about a killer pig, would you go see it? Yes, we would both see it.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
We both would definitely go see it. But the majority of Australians, I think, would be no.
Nah, we're too busy drinking and shooting balls out back.
Exactly.
Don't go see no fucking movies.
Alright, let's talk about the movie, though.
Let's just jump into it.
Oh, I really love this intro so much.
Alright, Sandro.
Yeah, mate.
You're in the Australian Outback.
That's right.
There's nothing around you for miles. Just a couple of gnarled trees on a dusty desert.
Oh, it's drier than a dry billabong.
Oh, yeah, and they're the driest things in the universe.
It's so dry, those dry billabongs. Could light a fire in them.
That's pretty dry.
It's so dry.
You're in a... But you got your shed. Your shed that you call a house. Good old tin roof.
Yeah, I call it my shag station.
You shouldn't. Your grandson's here at the moment.
Yeah,
so
we don't call it that when he's here.
Yeah, can you not, though?
When he's gone, though.
Yeah, when he's gone. All right, that's better, because that's not appropriate for young audiences. Anyway, you're in the middle of nowhere in your tin shed. You got
Yep.
your tin roof. You know, it's great when it rains.
Yep.
Good time.
Sounds like Hot Cats on the Tin Roof. It's a movie. I saw it once on TV.
Was it any good?
I can't remember. I was drunk, am I right? Yeah.
That's the way of it, mate.
I was drinking VB.
All right, so you're in your tin shed, but the sun's going down. You got your nice sunset shot.
Yep.
You know, sun's going down, so it's time to put the old grandson to bed because, as previously mentioned, he's here.
Well, I'll look to the sun. I'll say goodbye, cunt.
Piss off, dickhead.
So you can't. I go to the grandson and be like, "G'day, mate. I'm like, good night. It's time for you to go to bed."
And he's like, "Oh, piss off, cunt. I don't want to go to fucking bed."
Well, I'll be like, here, grandson. Have a little bit of whiskey. I'll put some whiskey in the kid's mouth. Kid's off.
The kid's like, "Oh, fucking whiskey, mate."
I'll be like, "Oh, that ain't working for you. That ain't working. All right, here's some mushrooms I got from out in the bush."
Mushrooms? That's not... And your kid's out. Your kid's out for the count.
Perfect.
You know?
I think I killed my kid. With some bush
Oh,
mushrooms.
just you wait, mate. So you put your grandson to bed. Yeah, but then once you put your grandson to death, you hear some sounds.
Oh, no.
Sounds from outside. It's the one thing you feared.
Oh, my wife.
Nah, don't worry about her, mate. She's fucking dead, mate.
Yeah.
She's fucking carked it, mate. You know why?
Why?
Because you got ate by the Razorback.
The Razorback.
The Razorback, because we see a dramatic photo of you and your wife and your child, and not your grandson's not in that, but you got your child, because your wife got eaten by the monster pig. The Razorback.
And now it's back.
So what's your first reaction when you hear the sound of the pig?
Oh, I'm gonna stare at it for a couple seconds.
Well, first you got to get your gun, mate.
No, I'll wait.
Wait.
Now I'll go get my gun.
All right.
I had to dramatically stare.
Right, yeah, no, that is true. You did dramatically stare at, like, the wall and be like, it's the Razorback who also killed my wife and is going to try and kill me at this point.
Alright, I got my gun, which we have in Australia. We've got a lot of guns in Australia.
Apparently.
An awful lot. They're super easy to get your hands on here in Australia.
I mean, back then, probably. Nowadays, there was, like, a gun store next to the noodle shop.
There is a gun store next to my local noodle shop. That is correct. It's a
good time.
We used to go down there, have a couple duels.
Shoot a couple of nudes.
Yep.
Eat a couple of guns. It was a good time.
Yum. Australians would call noodles nudes, though, wouldn't they?
No! We're Australian! Have you met anyone who's called noodles nudes before?
I'm sure someone out there... I mean, I call nuggets nuggies. I call them nugs sometimes.
Yes, but I also hate that. And I hate nudes.
Slurp them up. Slurp up a couple nudes.
Go to your local bloke, give him a couple of nudes, he'll appreciate it. So, you head outside and you see him. The big, mighty Razorback.
Oh, my.
It's a fucking legend.
Oh, you've gone northern again.
Yeah, that's what I fucking do, mate. The Australian accent's only good for saying mate.
It's true.
Alright, so you see the Razorback, he's chilling, he's being like, what the fuck? And then he just fucking rams himself into your fucking shed of a house.
Okay, it doesn't just do that. You've got to fully explain the visual of this quite obviously stationary, not moving pig being rammed towards a house like it's on some sort of remote control car.
Yeah. I don't know what you mean, mate. It's just this wild pig. She's fucking standing still and charging at the same time, ramming into your house. And you're like, oh, Struth, the baby.
Oh no, my little grandson.
Razorback stole my baby. That thing's full of whiskey and shrooms. The Razorback's going to have a wonderful time eating that.
Hang on, okay, so the Razorback grabs the baby, and then I guess rams to the other side of the house, setting the place on fire. It's just an explosion.
Don't you know that pigs are highly flammable, Sandro? That's a well-known fact, mate.
And then what I'm going to do after that, I'm going to get down on my knees and I'm going to go, bloody no!
No! Bloody string!
It is actually the best intro to any film we've done this year.
Yes.
It is so, it tells you exactly what you're in for. It's great.
So yeah, this pig just rams through the house, sets it on fire, I presume because it hit a gas vein or something.
I guess, probably.
And he goes outside and is like, no, my grandson!
No. And then we get the opening font and the theme music and everything. It's pretty good. I like it.
It's a good time. It was great. It was some good font right there.
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
We're introduced to the town of Gamala.
Which cuts in with the best scene, which is a magpie going, caw, caw!
It's perfect.
That's the only way you can cut to an Australian town, by showing a magpie. Just going fucking ape.
Now, Gamala isn't an actual place, but it is filmed in Broken Hill, which is, where a lot of classic Australian things are filmed. They said that Gamala was I think Western Victoria?
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
Did they actually say it at any point? I missed it completely.
At some point they said it, yeah.
I just thought it was vaguely in Australia somewhere.
It says that they say it's meant to be, just north of Sydney near the border. So it is basically where Broken Hill is in real life, is where this movie's set.
I like the town, I like the folks. They're just a couple of blokes having a beer, shooting up some kangaroos, Razorbacks,
Yeah.
It's a good time.
The Dicko brothers, this is the first time we see them. I called them the Dicko brothers, even though one of them is called Dicko and the other one has another name. I just called them the Dicko brothers because they're just a couple of dicks. There's two guys.
They are complete asswipes of the highest order, and boy, do you learn to dislike them.
The laugh was pretty funny, though.
Yeah, no, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. That was the scariest part of this movie, was their laugh.
It was just like a magpie's claws in a window.
Oh, fuck.
Magpie beak in a window, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the most annoying, grating thing in the universe.
We have Jake in court, because everyone's like, you probably killed your grandson, and he's real sad, and he's like, nah, the Razorback did it, mate. And then his daughter is like, I don't believe you, Daddy. That's not an Australian accent. That was...
I don't believe you, Daddy. So we have a scene of him after all this. Razorback, has gone through, murdered his grandson, where, the town's tried him for murder. And, of course, no one believes him, but they don't have significant enough evidence to accuse him. So his daughter thinks he murdered him. They talk about how pigs wouldn't have been strong enough to take a child away, but, a regular pig would be able to take a child, I think. Drag it, at least.
Yeah.
Like a 3-year-old or below, I feel.
How old was the grandson? I thought the grandson was more like 6 or something, but that could just be my memory messing with me.
But he puts him to sleep.
Oh,
right?
yeah, he kills him with magic mushrooms and whiskey.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was getting. God damn it. Stop murdering your grandson, Sandro. Fuck you, maniac.
Yeah. It's happened 13 times already.
Yeah, look.
Keep doing it.
You should be tried. Far out. No, so what happens is, pigs would be strong, and a boar would be even stronger, like a wild boar.
Yeah, 100% a wild boar could pick up a kid and take it, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know why. They're very anti this old man. I felt bad for him, but luckily he doesn't get tried, because,
Yeah, so he gets discharged, and he's like, I'm gonna find you, Razorback, and I'm gonna kill you. So then we cut to 2 years later, and we're in New York. It's actually just a set in Australia, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They do a time jump. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years. It feels like longer, but we've got New York. we're introduced to two characters. We're
Yep.
introduced to Lady
Beth.
Investigator Dude, who has a name,
Beth Winters.
and Guy, who's husband of Investigator Dude.
He's Coral. So she is a pro-animal rights activist / news presenter, and the station has asked her to go to Australia to investigate the slaughter of kangaroos at the town that is famous for slaughtering kangaroos and selling them off as dog food. She goes to Gamala. She's just interviewing people. She interviews Jake, right? And he's like, kangaroos? I don't like killing kangaroos. I love killing razorbacks.
Okay, no. I want to break down the scene, because these scenes are awesome. So they get to this dusty old shithole known as this town.
Yep.
And there's just people hanging out in the local bar, as the true Aussies would.
We do that regularly.
They go inside, and everybody's like, oh, you here to interview us? Nah, thank you, fuck off. And so they're like, oh, these people are pretty hostile about the whole trying to investigate their livelihoods and ruin them. But then they see one of these cars, these Mad Max vans that people have hooks for ruse and other things on, drive by, and she's like, quick, get the camera. So the cameraman's like, all right. And he sculls his drink, and I was like, well, that's a true Australian bloke.
Yep.
Before doing any work, he quickly sculls his beer.
He does.
Now that's a true Australian bloke right there. I just wanted to point it out because that was good.
That was good.
He gets the camera over there, and they're interviewing good old Jake.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I don't go shooting around no kangaroos. Nah, I'm shooting razorbacks.
Razorbacks.
Because she's like, oh, why do you do that? And he's like, oh, there's something about blasting the shit out of a razorback that just brightens my whole day.
Which is a great quote.
Which is the best quote in the movie.
It is very good.
Yup.
So she then follows a truck that is full of kangaroo corpses to a processing plant called Pet Pack.
Yup.
And she's looking through the windows, trying to spy, see what's up in this building, where all of a sudden, Dicko comes out of a window and says, oh, what's up your hole?
Get out of here.
Which is a great line. Never heard that one before. There were a lot of, very Australian, sayings in this movie that I haven't heard for so long.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What's up your hole?
I liked when they're in the bar, and she's trying to call her husband. But because the phones are old, they have to connect via things, and it's just not working. Meanwhile, good old Dicko brothers throwing darts next to her face.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, yeah? So she picks up the darts, all right? She grabs these darts, and she walks past them, chucks them in his drink. And you know what? Everyone laughs, and it's very realistic.
It's good.
That scene made me cringe with the fake laugh, but yeah.
And that is where Dicko is like, I'm gonna kill her. So she's driving late at night. And from behind her, a couple of drunk blokes are in a car behind her, and they're hooting and hollering. They're blasting bloody AC/DC. They're listening to Triple M late at night.
Oh, hell yeah. Now it's
All blokes. All bloke music. And a little bit of Pink, because she's...
Yeah, I like Pink. Pink's alright. Yeah, she's...
Oh, they drive her off the road.
Oh,
and she's like, oh, no, they're driving me off the road. And then they're like, oh, we got ya. And they start being a little bit creepy.
Yeah, no, a lot creepy. What do you mean a little bit creepy?
Extremely creepy. And then, from out in the bush, we hear a bit of a walloping. We hear a bit of a grunting, like there's a big old beast coming.
Then he better pull out.
And it attacks... It attacks their car. And they're like, oh, we gotta get out of here. So they run.
Yeah, so he smacks at the car, and I was like, ha-ha, saved by the boar. Ha-ha. I wrote that down in my notes.
Wow.
I was like, yay, saved by the horror movie thing.
And then Beth is like, I'm gonna get in my car. And then the pig attacks her. And she's screaming, and the pig is also kind of screaming at her.
And then I wrote down, never mind, Jesus Christ, she was not saved. Those are those two lines are next to each other. I wrote, saved by the boar, and then, never mind, Jesus Christ, she was not saved.
Definitely not saved.
We see her being eaten alive by this boar. And I was like, wow, that I was not expecting that. I was expecting her to follow her for most of the movie, but no, she gets murdered here, eaten by the boar.
She does. Yeah, I was like, is she gonna, crawl away, have to get like a wooden leg or something? But nah, she's just straight up dead. She's dead.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's like half an hour in the movie, kill the main character, what's going on?
Yeah, it's very brutal, and I was like, damn, I was not expecting it to be this brutal. Even later on, it does the same thing, and I was still not expecting it.
Yeah.
It's just way more brutal than I thought it would be.
We then cut to the following morning, and Jake is looking at this trashed car, and he says, "Oh, he's back. An old friend is back."
Oh, I love that. He's investigating, and he finds like hoof prints and other things of these large hoof prints, and he's like, he's back.
And then we see Carl, the husband. He's coming to Australia,
and I was like, oh, this is the new main character. Wow, that was a very good way of doing it, where you got like the main character, but they die. Who's going to be the next main character?
Yeah,
it's the husband that we saw earlier.
Yeah,
I thought it was very clever. It's very good film making or book making. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Just writing, I guess.
Yeah.
He comes to Gamala, and he's looking for a room. Very easily rents a room, and just leaves his bag with this guy while he borrows the motel owner's car. Which is good on that guy.
I was like, wow, this is quality, nice Aussie hospitality.
Yeah.
I liked how he shaved on the bus. We saw a scene where he shaved on the bus, and I was like, yep, so that's how we know that he's going to be clean shaven for the rest of the entire movie.
He shaved on the bus.
But I will note, he was clean shaven at the end of the movie.
Oh.
And I knew he was going to be like that because he was shown to have a portable razor.
Yep.
So for the rest of the movie, he was shaving. And we know that because we had a scene just then that showed us that.
I didn't notice because it doesn't matter, but I'm glad that you did. So, he runs into, again, I'm just going to call them the Dicko brothers, even though one of them...
Yeah, I wrote down, oh, hey, these are the guys that tried to rape my wife. Nice, let's hang out with them.
Exactly. Yeah, he hangs out with them for a while because they're going to be like, we'll take you hunting. Your mum might find clues about what happened to your wife out in the bush. There's a great joke where they're in the car. They're all hanging out. They're taking Jake hunting. And so one of the brothers says to Jake, do you do hunting? And he says, yeah, we hunt deer in New York. Deer. And the guy's response is, sweetheart, get it? Deer.
Oh, no. It was so bad.
It's pretty bad.
God, that hurt. But to be fair, they are bad.
They are terrible.
But they have great hospitality because they take him back to their place and it's literally like a Mad Max shelter in the ground. They have a literal bird hanging from the ceiling. And you know the one thing they're eating? They're eating bangers. They're offering him some good old bangers with some Australian hospitality, which, you know what, was pretty nice.
And he's like, but what are bangers? Oh, they're snags. Oh, what are snags?
Yeah, no, the scene goes on forever because he just, doesn't say sausages for some fucking reason. Just say fucking sausages, mate.
It's great.
Clearly he's American.
It's
Could have just said sausages, but he's like, nah, they're snags. They're bangers.
Red rockets.
No, that's a different thing, Sandra.
That's not a sausage. You don't eat those. Don't eat red rockets. I mean, you can if you want. It's your choice.
No. Moving on.
So yeah, they're very nice to him when he's in their house. He has a nap in their place as well, which looked very uncomfortable. The place he slept in, I was like, that does not look like a nice place to nap.
Yeah, it's literally just like an indent in the wall sort of thing of this cave.
And we look, I haven't had a line in a while. At the start of the year, there were quite a few lines and sayings that I was going to bring back. But the further we got into the year, the less I cared about bringing them back, the more I was just like, these quotes should stay in the past. But this one, I think, is something that I'm going to bring back.
Absolutely.
And that is, when they go to wake him up, they say, "Wakey, wakey, hands off your snakey."
Which I really think we should bring back.
I'm bringing it back.
Absolutely. Bring it back. Wakey, wakey, hands off your snakey.
Do you want to hear all the stuff that I'm bringing back?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to do them all in an Australian accent.
Absolutely.
Rotate out of here. Oh, suck my sweet potato. Oh, I'm going to go shake the dew off my willy. Well, lift my leg.
Well, all right.
I think this was from a film that we didn't do an episode on, but I watched it anyway. Jesus H. Casper the Ghost.
Oh, that's so bad.
That's all the ones I'm bringing back, but this is probably my favourite one. Wakey, wakey, hands off your snakey.
Wakey, wakey, hands off snakey.
It's terrible. So Australian.
It's the most Australian thing.
All the Americans listening right now are probably going like, wow, from the sounds of the podcast up until this point, yeah, Australia seemed pretty normal. And now we're talking about an Australian movie and they're like, oh, nah, there's a pretty big difference here.
Wakey, wakey, hands off snakey.
Oh.
But yeah, I also had a quote here, which was, because it's one of my favourite lines. Not lines, but like sayings, which is, freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Do say that. Yeah.
Which is a great phrase, which I need to remember. That's what I want to not bring back, but use. Freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Oh, they say struth as well, which is super Australian.
Yeah, that's very Australian.
They go night hunting after this. They go night hunting. I've got questions about where they go hunting.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of trees, like barren trees, probably dead trees. A lot of tree corpses in this deserty area.
I also had a question. I'm sure you're getting to it, though.
In one of the trees, it's just a car. It's just a car hanging in the tree. What happened?
Yeah, well, it's obvious, you know. It's a reference to Dirk Gently.
The book series by the guy that wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, Dirk Gently. It's on Netflix. It's a really good show.
Oh, the TV show.
Oh, well, yeah. It's a reference to the TV show, which comes out 30 years later.
Yep. Okay. How so?
Time travel.
Alright. That's it. Okay.
I have no explanation. I also wrote down in my things, I was like, why is there a car in the tree? Did a boar put it up there? Did the Razorback put it up there? Did someone crash their car up a tree?
Is there I think there's a scene where the Razorback, like, flings a giant hunk of metal or something. So it has the strength. Yeah.
So that's my theory, is that the Razorback just put it there. But it was great aesthetic, that's for sure. It got me questioning. So
the two brothers, they shoot a kangaroo, but they don't kill it because they wanted to take it back so that they could butcher it.
Yeah. And so what they do, which does sound very inhumane, which is a bit unfortunate, was you shoot it, leave it alive, hook it up, and then drag it back to the pet park. But obviously, our friend, who hasn't hunted in his life, and who's literally married to an animal activist, he doesn't like this so much.
No.
So he throws up. Dicko's like, oh man, was that the stags, mate, coming back to fight you?
He does say that.
But then like, oh yeah, do you normally throw up when you're shooting deer?
And then he's like, no, we shoot them to kill them. We don't shoot them to make sure they're still alive. And so he goes and he kills the kangaroo, and then the two brothers are like, oh, we're not having none of that. You're staying here. We're leaving you behind.
Yeah, because they're dickholes of people. Like, what the hell? He literally says, don't go walkabout. You're in the middle of bugger all here, mate.
He hears something, and it's a stampede of pigs, and the Razorback is the king. And he's like, oh my god. So he runs away. He climbs a windmill, and he does a bit of a Hunger Games where he ties himself to the windmill so that he doesn't fall off, so he can sleep up there.
Yeah. That was actually probably his smartest survival technique.
Now, what happens when he wakes up, and there's all the regular pigs that are trying to push him into the lake?
Yeah.
Trying to push the windmill over.
Well, they're trying to push the windmill over so they can eat him, mate.
They were obviously acting pigs, so they looked very happy. I didn't sense any malice in those pigs' faces at all. I was like, these are some cute pigs that want to play.
Razorbacks are fucking killers, mate. See, just look at you, then gut you, skin you, and eat every single bone and fecal matter in your body. They're things from hell. These adorable pigwits will snap your neck as soon as they look at you. That's why they try to break down the windmill. They want to snap his neck, break his spine apart, and feast on his innards.
I think they just want a friend. They just want a friend.
They're pretty cute pigs.
They're pretty cute pigs. But they can't swim as well, because he lands in the lake, and the pig's like, not going in the water. And he's like, pigs don't like to swim, which is not true.
But they're also a bit of a dick. They're like little devilish pigs, because they come in and knock over the windmill. So they're like cheeky little jester pigs, you know?
So anyway, he gets out of the lake, and then he goes for a walkabout. He kind of daydreams some stuff.
Oh my goodness, this scene is like crazy. He's walking around, but his clothes are getting more shredded and dire, but also the scenery's a bit off, you know? They use like a filter or whatever.
He's walking on like white sand at some point, and then like the sky's green.
But there's a giant crack in the salt lake at one point. And Sandro, did you notice the giant crack in the salt lake?
Of course I did.
And how this may have been CGI just a little bit?
It looked okay, I guess.
It looked awful.
It looked better than like the sparks flying everywhere at the end of the movie.
I guess that's true, but it's just a special effect. And I guess because it's a dream sequence, all the bad effects in this can be forgiven.
Exactly.
And, like, the crack disappears. I don't know where it goes later on, so...
The bit that got me in the dream sequence was when he hears something coming up from under the ground.
Oh, yeah?
And it's like some neighing, it's like horse noises, and then just a horse skeleton bursts out, and it's like, bro, I'm a horse skeleton! And he's like, ah!
Yeah, that was very weird.
That was very cool. I liked that. So anyway, he wakes up in real life, goes for a walk, and just comes across a naked lady, and he's like, oh my goodness, my wife just died. That's what he says.
Because he comes across, goddamn,
Sarah, her name is.
Then he faints.
Yeah, he faints. He says, oh, my wife died. And then he faints. And then he wakes up in her house, and we get this amazing scene where he's like, you saved me, and he reaches out, and then she turns around, and she's got like this pig face, and it's this jump scare. It's great.
I was not expecting a jump scare in this movie. This one got me out of my seat. I was like, what the fuck?
It's so unexpected that it's stupid.
It was like, for 5 seconds of the film, they had to make that pig face.
Yeah.
That person. So, yes, clearly they wasted a bit of money on that.
Yeah, I think they did. But good on them. It makes the film better.
Good on them. It was very funny. I was not expecting it.
Jake is like, oh, the Razorback killed your wife. How sad is that? You want to help me kill it? And Carl's like, no, I'm going to stay here with Sarah. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go kill the pig by myself then.
Chick.
Meanwhile, cut to this random dude in his trailer house, and,
It was random nonsense. It never comes back. I was like, when does this come back? Because it was great. I love these scenes, but I wish he had showed up at one point to meet our characters and like,
yeah.
This fucking thing took half my fucking house.
So what happens is he's in his house. He's watching TV, by the way. He's watching this late night Australian talk show host from the 80s called Don Lane. And he's just watching it. He's having a nice time, right?
Yeah. But then he hears some noises from outside. Something strange. And then a loud banging noise. And he comes out and he sees this shed outside. There's a giant hole in it. Something slammed into it. And it's his freezer shed where he keeps all his dead kangaroos, ? But it's been gutted by... There's a big hole in it and all his meat's been taken. And he's like, oh, fucking... thing. So he takes the last remnants of his meat, he puts it in a pile and he puts a big net over it.
Yeah.
He ties the net to his car. And then he ties the net to half his house. And he's like, oh, once this boar comes in, I'm going to trap it with the net. and we're gonna Glock it.
Whereas in reality, the boar just takes it all and pulls his house apart.
Yes. So later on, we see the second half of the scene, which we'll just do now, which is literally the boar just comes in, grabs the meat, it gets netted, it pulls the tow bar off the car, and then the rest of the chain, which is tied to the house, takes a quarter off the house.
Yep.
Which includes the TV and the talk show host, which goes riding off into the distance as the guy's just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? I'm too fucking drunk for this shit.
It's a completely unimportant scene, but I love it because it comes back, like, as you mentioned, it's split into two halves, and it's just great. It's really funny. I liked it.
Meanwhile, what's her face? One of the characters is like, hey, Jake, take this satellite gun. You can tag the boar, and then once you've tagged the boar, we can track it. And he's like, oh, I don't want to take the tracker gun. I'm going to shoot it dead. And she's like, take it anyway, you big bitch. And he's like, oh, well, if you say it like that, this is a direct quote from the movie. And so then he goes searching around, goes to the local watering hole.
Oh, yeah, he's got his dogs with him as well.
Yeah, he's got his dogs, because you need dogs for hunting boar. That's a thing in real life. That's true. That's how it's done, so yeah.
And the dogs are going off, and he's like, what's that in the distance? It's a giant pig, it's the Razorback.
I love the scenes where they have it in shot, where it's just half of it's not in shot for some reason.
Yeah, the bottom half of it is never in shot, because the bottom half of it is just wheels or it's on some remote control device.
Yeah.
Like, they don't show it.
Absolutely. But he's like, oh my god, there it is. Quick, get the guns, get the dogs, go get the dogs.
But the bullets aren't piercing, it's thick hide. So anyway, he hits it with the tracking dart and is like, oh, I can't bloody kill it, I'll bloody track it here.
Yeah, I was shooting it, it's bullet resistance. Bullets were bouncing right off it. Sandra said that, that's a fact. So I gotta dart it.
Oh, and he also finds the remains of the news reporter. She's in a swamp thing where they dump all the bodies. So, this is a weird scene that I didn't particularly like, because Sarah then calls up, I think it's Dicko's brother, or like someone at the bar, and is like, hey, just so you know, Jake now knows what happened to that dead news reporter.
The barman guy, because he's a cool guy. The barman guy's a cool guy. He's not the Dicko brother's brother or anything. He's just the barman, who was really nice and lent his car earlier. He's a great guy. I'm not sure what happened to his car. We never get back to it. Because the other guy kind of abandons it at the pet park.
He does.
So hopefully it gets back to him.
I don't think it did.
Because he was a solid bloke. But the Dicko brothers, being Dickos, listen in on the call and they find out, oh my god. Because the barman's like, oh yeah? So you're saying that Jake knows what happened to the wife?
It's classic, like, movie telephone conversation where you repeat everything the other person says so everyone in the room can hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Jake doesn't know that they tried to rape her.
No.
But he knows that she got eaten by the boar, so...
But they think that he knows that they were involved.
Yeah.
And they're like, we gotta go kill... Yeah.
Also, she was pregnant.
Yep.
They bring the main guy brings this up. We just find out about this now, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's true. There's a random quote here. I don't remember the context, but it's just one fart and you're a hamburger. I don't know what that means, where that comes into it.
I don't know. That was probably during what they were saying.
Probably.
Oh, no. That's when they get... so Jake's having a... sleep because it's nighttime and they creep up on him.
Yeah,
they pull out their guns and they point the guns at him, wake him up, and he's like, one fart and you're a hamburger.
One fart and you're that's right. Yes, because if he moves they'll kill him.
That was a great quote.
That was a good quote. So then they knock him out. And and there's the two Dicko brothers. The one that's actually called Dicko, he's a bit crazier than the other one. And the one that's actually called Dicko is like, I'm going to kill Jake. But the other brother's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want anything to do with this.
Because Dicko's a fucking Dicko.
But then Dicko just, like, badly cuts his leg. He badly cuts Jake's leg. Is it a machete or an axe that he uses? I don't know. Either way.
I don't think we see it.
Yeah.
They bust his legs and then they leave.
But yeah, and then Jake wakes up and is like, my bloody legs! No!
Yeah, which was goddamn horrifying.
It was a bit. So he sends his dog off to get help, but the Dicko brothers run over the dog.
Yeah.
It's just sad. So what he does is he crawls. He crawls around. He crawls through the swamp where the boar does all his poops. And I'm like, your legs are cut that badly. Don't go crawling through a swamp. You're going to get some sort of disease from that for sure.
Yeah. No, that was... I'm pretty sure that's the least of his worries, Sandro.
I think it might be. I'm just thinking of his health. I'm like, look, if I didn't know, and at this moment I didn't, I was like, he's going to survive this movie. He's going to be the hero. He's probably going to be the only one left alive at the end of the movie because his wife and son and also grandson were killed by this boy. He's going to live. So I was thinking of his health post movie. I was like, after the movie, I want to make sure he's alright. I want to make sure his legs mend. So anyway, he's crawling through the swamp. He's getting his legs all diseased. He finds a trailer. He goes into the trailer. He's hanging in the trailer.
Bam, bam.
Then the Razorback is like, I want to bloody
bam.
get in the trailer. And he's like, oh no, the Razorback wants to bloody get in the trailer with me for bloody 10 minutes and bloody trailer heaven. Oh, bloody Razorback, get out of here.
The Razorback's like, nah, yeah? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. And then the Razorback kills him.
And the Razorback busts in and kills him. And I was like, once again, another death that I was just not expecting.
No.
I thought he was going to be the one to kill the Razorback, but he never got his revenge.
No.
In the end, he just got ate.
Oh, and then you got Sarah and Carl finding the body, and Carl's like, oh, those bloody Dicko boys have got something to do with this.
And she's like, well, I'm going to get the rest of the guys and we're going to go shoot this boar.
Because the boar has a tracker in it, which is important. The boar has a tracker in it.
It's only important for this one scene because the rest of the movie forgets
it. Doesn't matter that the boar has a tracker in it. And we probably don't need to mention that storyline. It's
so dumb because, alright, I will quickly go through it.
Yep.
She gets all the local bar guys to get their guns out, which is great. I thought this was good. And then they follow the tracking device, but they follow the wrong tracking device and it's for the little pig.
Yep.
Little pig that we saw tagged earlier, and they're all like, well, this is the boar, we're gonna all leave and forget about this, and not avenge this guy who just died, but whatever.
Exactly.
Anyway, I like on the boar hunt that the one guy, he can't get in a car. Everybody's driving off, so instead he hops on the back of a camel, and he's like, follow those cars.
Carl's on a revenge rampage. He finds the Dicko brother that's not called Dicko, and he hangs him in a well, and is like, tell me where your brother is.
He doesn't find him. He fucking crashes through the front door with his car.
He does.
And the Dicko brother's like, hey, you know there's brakes on that thing, right? And then he's like, what happened to my wife? And he's like, oh shit, I gotta run. He's hiding on the crane, and he's like, what happened to my wife? Tell me everything. Where's Rachel? And he's like, oh, I don't know. We tried to rape her, but then we failed because the big boar came and ate her. And then we fucked up Jake. So the boar ate him. And now I'm going to die in this well. Yep. How's that sound?
And he's like, cool, I'm just going to leave you to die in the well. Thanks for telling me. I'm going to go to the factory, find your brother.
And he's like, oh, wait, can you come back? And then he doesn't.
No. I guess he dies. I hope he dies.
I know he goes down to the bottom of the well. I know that the other guy dies, and to be fair, the other guy was way worse. Dicko.
Yeah, Dicko's way worse. But the other guy, I mean, someone could have pulled him up, but I don't know.
I think, well, he's like a sheep.
Yeah,
he's like exactly. A sheeple. He follows the wolf around, He just does what he's told. He has an eye patch, glasses thing, and I think he deserves to live because of it. Because Mad Max eye patch glasses are great and should be encouraged on everyone.
Dicko brother, who is called Dicko, is at Pet Pack, which is where Carl's heading now, and also you know what else is heading there? The Razorback.
Oh yeah, because they haven't put out the lights and other things to keep the boars away.
We get Chekhov's razor blades, where Dicko and Carl are fighting, and Dicko almost pushes Carl through these very dangerous blades that are there to churn up all the kangaroo corpses into meat.
Yep.
But he narrowly escapes it. But it's important to know that those blades are there for the end of the movie. It's very important.
Yeah, so Dicko makes a break for it, He jumps out, he makes a run for it, but then the boar shows up. And Dicko's like, oh, no, don't eat me.
Oh, wait, you missed one scene, and it's a very funny scene, because he's in a car, he's chasing Dicko down in a car with the headlights on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Dicko gets cornered, turns around, he's in the headlights, and he's like, I'm a kangaroo. It's great. Great.
Oh, my God, yes. And then even Carl starts laughing. And they're having a good old laugh.
Oh, good to see you got a sense of humour, mate. Gonna let me live?
He's like, nah. And then he cocks the gun and he's like, well, then shoot me then. Shoot me.
Just a weird scene, but I loved it.
It was amazing.
Because if you don't know, when you're driving with your headlights on, kangaroos will stop in the middle of the car and stare into your headlights. And then you bang into them.
Yeah.
I've hit many a kangaroo with my fist, but also while driving in a car.
Yeah, you know, sometimes your dog's being harassed by a kangaroo. You got to go up to it and give it the old 1-2.
Wasn't there a kangaroo boxing match in, like, your street once?
Oh, right, yeah, because... Sorry, do you mean, like, when two kangaroos go at each other?
Or when a man punches a kangaroo.
I'm pretty sure... I don't remember when a guy comes up to a kangaroo, but I do remember that two male kangaroos were having a go at each other across the road from where I lived once.
Yeah.
Because they fight over females and stuff, and they literally, like, box each other and whack each other with their legs.
Yeah.
And they're, like, buff.
Yeah. You know what? This movie could have been really cool if it was a kangaroo fighting against humans because kangaroos are extinct. If the kangaroo was the one killing people. I'm just saying. Sequel, maybe.
Absolutely.
But anyway, the boar has showed up, kills Dicko.
Yep.
So good on it.
They run into a sort of canyon area or like a hole, and Dicko just gets at. Which is good. Finally, someone gets some comeuppance. So, thank God.
Then Razorback goes after Carl. Great scene where Carl's locked himself in the factory and he's like, I'm safe in the factory. And then crashing through the window above him is this giant boar.
Yes. We see more of the boar now, and it's good. I like the face of the boar, which is mostly what we see.
Oh, and his plan of escape is to climb a ladder and then be like, haha, boar, you can't climb a ladder, get wrecked.
You fucking them. So the boar's like, oh, fuck you, mate, and it knocks down a pillar and it rips out half the scaffolding underneath Carl, and he's like, oh, shit, mate. I'm about to get fucking ate, mate.
This film is great. I just want to say that now.
It's fantastic. It's very entertaining. But then the worst thing shows up. So Carl's managed to survive so far, but what's her face? Rachel?
Sarah.
Sarah shows up and is like, oh, hey, is anything going on in here? I can't hear a boar ripping through a factory at the moment, so let me just fucking walk in here.
She suddenly turns into the dumbest person in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I just noted that she couldn't hear the boar for some reason.
Which is weird.
And then Carl's like, hey, yo, no, look out, there's a boar. So what happens is she comes in and the boar turns around and is like, oh. And then he comes out and is like, oh, don't kill her, look at me. And he sort of kites the boar around the car.
Yep. And then the boar, dashes at him. And so what he does is he goes and hides in a corner. He's got a pipe as well. He's torn off this pipe. And what he does is, as the boar charges at him, quite slowly actually, but charges at him in this corner, he just sticks the pipe in the boar's neck.
Yeah, which was very cool. I like that. And he just manages to escape being, like, gored by the boar.
Yeah.
I nearly died there trying to stay. Bored,
Swedish chef, gore in the boar.
Gore in the boar. So the gore in the boar doesn't happen, but he hop on the conveyor boat, and then that on the conveyor boat.
I can't tell if this is worse than the Australian accent at the start, or if this is funnier. The burr and the girl.
And that's on the conveyor boat, but the bird go on the conveyor boat, and the bird go grr, and the bird go, oh no,
and at the end of the goo, the burr is a girl.
Yes, so he hops on a conveyor belt, and at the end of the conveyor belt is those fans that he nearly died, like razor blades that he nearly died to before, and he baits the boar into the razor blades, killing the boar, finally, once and for all. It takes a while. It grinds through it. And I was like, damn.
And also it sends the factory into, like, overdrive.
And, the factory has to go into overdrive just to deal with it. In the end, he manages to stop the factory from exploding for some reason. And he manages to save the girl, and that's the end of the film.
Yeah, it ends in a freeze frame of them embracing as the credits roll, and I think that's when like a nice like soft song starts to playing. You're like, oh, it's all over. It's all over. I'm really glad that the movie didn't end with like a classic 80s horror fake out where it's like, and actually the boar's alive. End of the movie. Like, pretty much every horror ends.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this one, it would have been pretty hard for them to go, oh yeah, the boar's alive after being grinded up by razor blades. Or maybe it could have been like, oh, there's two of them.
Yeah, that's also good.
That would have been good. Anyway.
And that right there is the movie Razorback that we watched so that we could talk to you about it.
And boy, was it a bloody Australian movie, alright.
This was... I loved this movie. Look, technically, the movie might not be fantastic, but...
Yeah.
I kind of loved it. It's kind of great.
This is how I usually go on movies that are bad, but I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm like, the movie might not be the best, but I really enjoyed it. This is my thoughts on Jurassic World.
Sure.
But Jurassic World may have been the funniest movie I've ever seen. It was everything I wanted. So, like, this is the same thing. This is everything I wanted from this movie. I wanted no more, no less.
Yeah.
It gave me exactly what I wanted, and even more so with the twists of just people dying, which I didn't expect.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm definitely giving it a goodie.
Oh.
I definitely watch this one again.
This is 100% a goodie that I will recommend to so many people.
And I'm going to give it the Dead Granddad Award. Because Jake dies.
I don't know if it's that good, but yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, that's why it's the Granddad.
Yeah.
You see, if it was a great movie, it would be the Dead Dad Award.
Yeah.
A Dead Granddad Award is not as good as a Dead Dad Award because it's once removed, sort of thing.
Exactly.
You know, it's one generation too late.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit as hard.
This movie is just so much fun, and if you haven't seen it and you're Australian, watch it. If you haven't seen it and you're not Australian but you love Mad Max, you are gonna love this.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely check this out. It's very fun. It is 2 goodies from us. Before we pitch a sequel, a little fun fact. Just a small fun fact. We mentioned it before, the dream sequences and the visuals in the dream sequences. One American director was a big fan of those dream sequences and actually called up the director of this film to be like, hey, how did you get those effects to look so good?
Really?
Matt director is little known dude Steven Spielberg.
Ah, right. Well, there you go.
Steven Spielberg, big fan of this movie. It's probably why his current films suck. He's trying to make this movie.
Yeah, he's still...
Like, Steven Spielberg, stop trying to make Razorback.
Yeah, come on. It's over. You've already made it. Move on.
Anyway, pitch and sequels. I have got a very long pitch that I wrote down a couple days before when I watched this that I will go through. But first, what is your sequel?
So, we're in Australia. It's well known that the Razorbacks have now taken over this new species of Razorback. It's more intelligent. It's larger, can flip cars, bash through buildings, eat people's babies. That's just what it does. And so the Australian government hires mercenary gangs from across the world to come in and shoot up all these Razorbacks, but it's the most dangerous job in the world. So they get paid by a head. And not only are these heads super valuable, but also other mercenaries are coming in to just kill the mercenaries.
Oh no, mercenaries.
Yeah, they're mercenaries that are hunting mercenaries that are hunting Razorbacks to steal the Razorback heads so they can claim it.
Oh, struth.
Those mercenaries are getting murdered by things, so it's all a big clusterfuck of mercenary things. And we follow our main hero. His name is Jake Danger. And he's a Razorback expert, and he shoots stuff. His great granddad was expert Razorback hunter.
Yep.
And now he is the leading. He leads the scoreboards at the local bar, the Dead Boar, and he's trying to keep up his prestige of being the greatest boar hunter in the world. But there's one boar that he's never been able to kill,
Okay.
The white boar.
Ooh, the white boar.
An albino boar that's murdered half his gang.
All right, sure.
Now, not only does he have to fight regular Razorbacks, the deadliest thing in the world, mercenary gangs looking to steal his stuff,
And mercenaries as well.
and mercenaries.
Yeah.
That's the one I just
That
mentioned.
is the one that you just mentioned. I just want to point out, they're mercenaries.
Yeah, we got mercenaries that are hunting mercenaries to try and steal their stuff so they can sell.
Exactly.
Australia's just a wasteland at this point.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's Razorback on Razorback action. It's just horrible.
Sounds terrible.
They're mutilating each other. It's just a wasteland. And so they're clearing a path for society, protecting the stronghold of humanity. That is, I'm going to say Melbourne.
Oh.
Because I live there.
Yeah.
And I'm biased. But he has to hunt this one boar that in the end, he has an epic battle on a cliff. Mm-hmm. And the way he wins is by both taking them off the cliff.
Great ending.
And that's how the movie ends.
And we never see their bodies, so they could be alive for the next one.
Yeah. But a sequel's never made because it's awful.
It sucks.
So what's your thing?
So the Razorback is back. The Razorback lives. Because the Razorback made a deal with the Goat Devil.
The what?
The Goat Devil. The Goat Devil of the Outback.
What? When was this established?
Oh, it's a flashback in the second one.
Okay,
where
cool.
it's revealed that the Razorback, through Planet of the Apes technology, the Planet of the Apes style of they're talking but they got subtitles and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Through that technology, but it's the 80s, so it looks awful. It's revealed that the pig, the Razorback, and the Goat Devil made a deal. So the Razorback can keep coming back to life. The Razorback is immortal as long as the Razorback kills people for the Goat Devil.
Okay.
And that's just useless exposition to have the Razorback back, and the Razorback's back killing people. So the second movie, there's a bunch of teenage British tourists that go out to the Outback.
Oh, no.
And they all just get murdered by the pig, and then it ends with them running away from, one of them survives, and it's don't never go out there. And then in the third one, Carl's back, because they make, multiple sequels. In the third one, Carl's back. Carl is back, and he's got to, hunt down the Razorback again, except he dies. He actually dies. In it, but he's got a new protege that then takes on his mantle. And then in the fourth one, it's actually called Razorback: The Final Pig, and in that one, they supposedly kill Razorback once and for all. But as we know from the fifth one, which is called Razorback 5, the pig's back, baby. The pig's still alive. But in that fifth one, the pig's not only alive, it's actually going to New York. So now the pig's in New York, and the pig's killing people in New York. And then it goes to space. We've got Razorback X, which is the pig in space. And then the pig goes to hell for one of them as well, which is Razorback Goes to Hell. There's also a comedy one.
This sounds awfully familiar. I'm just going to point... I hate to interrupt here, but some of this is sounding awful familiar. And, I just want one thing in here. All right, I know you might be basing this off other film franchises that have once come out before, but I have an idea. I thought of another thing. What if the Razorback has children?
Yeah, well, that was the one after the Razorback Goes to Hell. The Razorback comes back and has kids, except it's actually a sweet coming-of-age story about one of the Razorback kids who is like, I've got a sudden urge to kill people, Daddy, and the Razorback's like, well, let's take you out hunting then, and then they go out and kill people. In Africa this time, because...
What?
It's international. Next segment.
It's time for the most Australian segment in the fucking world.
Okay.
It's bloody raving reviews, mate.
Alright. Oh, Struth.
So what happens here is we get movie reviews from Rotten Tomatoes, the audience scores, not the critic scores, and we're going to quickly go through them. I'm going to say the things, Sandra's going to rate them. I'm going to tell him he's wrong, because those aren't the ratings that they actually rated them. Are you ready? Easy. Ash says, killer pigs, what can I say?
You can say killer pigs.
That's what they did. They wrote that.
Killer Pigs, What Can I Say? That gets a 4 out of 5.
Ooh, it's a 3.5.
Damn.
You were so close there. So close.
All right.
All right. I think you'll get Jude's vibes when Jude says, "Why on earth is this kind of crap being called movies?"
Well, it's not called a film, so it's called a movie. That's the rule. This isn't a film. This is a movie, which means it's of lower quality in cinema. That gets a 1.5 out of 5.
It was a 0.5.
Oh, it's the lowest.
All right. Yes. Billy says, seen it when I was like 5, and it scarred me.
It's very young.
Yes.
You would be terrified of all pigs after watching this when you were 5.
They were understandably scarred. Ooh. What do you think, Billy, who's been scarred for life now?
I almost want to say 5 out of 5.
Yeah, that would go on for the 5 vibe.
Yeah.
It's 1 out of 5.
Oh,
they're scarred for life. I mean, like, good lord.
All right.
Mikey says, a ridiculous rom through the Outback with a killer boar holding a grudge.
Ooh.
Perfect for a late night laugh.
It's true. Did you watch this late at night? I did.
Yes, I did as well, and I was like, oh man, those Razorbacks so spooky.
I really want this film to get a 4, so I'm going to give it a 4.
It's a 2 out of 5.
Oh,
2
damn
out
it.
of 5. Didn't you hear the negative connotations? It's perfect for a late night laugh.
I did not hear the negative connotations in that at all.
Because I didn't. Peter says, my mum has asked me to watch this film several times.
Why would your mum want you? Go on.
Let me finish the statement.
I'm just already amazed by this review.
My mum has asked me to watch this film several times before, but it was not until now that I decided to watch it. ... All I can say is, wow, this is a true classic. Watch it. Watch it now.
That's 5 out of 5. That's got to be 5 out of 5.
It's absolutely 5 out of 5. But good on Peter's mum.
Good on Peter's mum. This is like the most non-mum movie that I could imagine. So I just love the idea of like an Australian mum being like, "Yeah, son, sit down and watch Razorback with me."
Yeah, I know you're 5 years old, but it's time that you watch this movie.
I love that. Good on you, Peter, mum. You are the hero of today's episode.
Yep. David says, made better by them 2 nutty mates.
I disagree. I hated them.
I liked him. I was a fan.
3.5.
Ooh, it's a 3 out of 5. You
damn.
were so close.
So close.
So close. And finally, Andy says, far from a bore.
You sly dog, Andy.
In brackets, get it?
You sly son of a gun, Andy.
God damn it, Andy.
Damn it, Andy.
He's trying to sneak a little pun in there. Pun in Andy. Because it's far from a bore. But he didn't write bore as in boring. He wrote bore as in bore.
Oh,
and then in brackets, he wrote get it. Just to rub in the point.
I would give that review a 4. But it would get 5 if the get it wasn't there. The get it ruins it a little bit.
No, it's a 3.5, Sandro.
It's a 3.5.
Oh, you were so close.
That's great.
You just needed to go 5 down.
Well,
and that's it.
That's it. That's Razorback. Hope you enjoyed. What a bloody Australian episode. We should do more Australian movies because they're fun.
Absolutely. It was a grand time. I enjoyed this a lot.
If you like the show, we got Facebooks, we got emails, we got Instagrams. We're on all the podcast platforms aside from SoundCloud, which isn't a podcast platform, so stop asking us to be on it, Zach. We're also on YouTube. Leave us a comment if you want, except it's gotta be salty. You can't leave us a normal comment. It's gotta be mean.
You're going to be like, oh, I hate Razorbacks, and this is about Razorbacks, and I hate Razorbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
That exact quote.
Links to everything in the description. Also, I got another podcast called Nerd Out in the description. You listen if you want. Do whatever you want. Yep.
Next week,
we're
doing another movie. It's probably not an Australian one. We'll see how it goes. Sandra, would you like to hear your options?
Yeah. No. Yes. Actually, yes. Let's do it.
All right. We have A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh. Cool. Good movie.
Which that no one's ever heard of. We have No Small Affair. A 16-year-old photographer takes a picture of a woman and immediately falls in love with her.
Oh.
Tim Robbins from Shawshank. This is his film debut.
Oh, I like him. Terrible film concept. Pass.
Yes.
You started off, just by the way, you started off with Nightmare on Elm Street, and now I'm like, everything else, I'm like, eh.
Yeah. I probably should have saved that one for last. Oh well.
Anyway, keep going.
We have, oh God, you devil.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I just decided to read that like that. The third in an oh God film series. A magician casually says he'll be willing to sell his soul for success. Lucky for him, he can.
That sounds kind of amazing.
That does sound amazing. We have Samson and Sally.
Oh.
A Danish animated movie about two whales who go on an ocean-wide adventure to find Moby Dick. Sounds interesting. Sounds fun.
That sounds interesting.
And then we have the last one, which is Silent Night, Deadly Night. A man goes on a killing spree dressed up as Santa.
Oh, shit. I've heard of that movie before, and I really want to watch it. I've heard of that movie before, and I've been wanting to watch it for a long time.
All right, Sandro. So we got a few rough ones. So we got like The Nightmare on Elm Street or Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, shit. Okay, so peek behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. We got a guest next episode, and she was like, I've never seen Elm Street before. Can I come on and talk about Elm Street? And I was like, okay, well, yeah, Elm Street's coming up. But I didn't actually look at the options, and now I really want to do Silent Night, Deadly Night. Which is also a slasher. We could do it... What a conundrum I found myself in here. Oh, I really want to do Silent Night, Deadly Night. But how about I say to her, hey, watch Elm Street as well, and we can just talk about it for a little bit.
Okay. Sure.
Because it can be like a slasher special 2 weeks after Halloween.
Oh, yeah? Doesn't sound too bad.
Because you've seen Elm Street before, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you're saying do Silent Night, Deadly Night, then just talk about Elm Street?
I think like we could kind of do to Elm Street what we did for Splash, and then focus on Silent Night, Deadly Night. Because, I mean, that sounds amazing, that movie. That sounds really funny. It
does sound pretty amazing.
And it's also not necessarily a Halloween movie, it's also a Christmas movie, and, you know, Christmas is coming early every bloody year, so, yeah, we can do Christmas in November.
Oh, yeah?
Next week, those two movies,
Why
I guess.
did this movie come out this week, of all things? This is so early for a Christmassy theme. Like... It's obviously not a Christmas movie, but it's got Christmas themes in it. Surely you put this out in December at some point. I guess it is Halloween.
Yeah, but like Halloween was 2 weeks ago. Why did Nightmare on Elm Street come out 2 weeks after Halloween as well?
Yeah, well, at least it's in Halloween times.
Anyway, what's your favourite quote?
Oh, mine has to be. It has to be. Oh, I love shooting the shit out of a Razorback. Something about shooting at a Razorback just brightens my whole day.
And my favourite quote is, I got the boar in the gurdy-gur, and the birdy-gur, the boar in the gur, the boar in the gurdy-gur, and the boar in the foo, and the boar...
And then it goes... Bum, 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 bum. And the boar goes... Yeah!
It's the Muppets.
Yeah. The Muppets was definitely the best part of this movie. Very surprising that they were in this.
They're not even Australian. I'm like, get the Muppets out of my Australian movie.
Yeah. Nah, keep the Muppets in there. They were pretty good.
Oh, an Australian Muppet, though. It's just Gonzo's going, oh, cat!
Oh, yeah, cat!